Hi everyone, very warm welcome on this edition of Economic Times Market for live market session. And we are going to look at how to trade markets from here and what is happening. We can clearly see in past 2 days of time a very sharp rise on Nifty. On the upside, it's breaking that 16,300 levels also. So what has to be done, how we have to go about it, what techniques we should follow, we are going to discuss in much detail, and if there is a trade that we can take now. It's going to be very interesting session that we are going to have now in just nearly around 30-45 minutes. I'll be open to take Q&A. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to respond back as and when possible. And just yeah, so I'll be able to respond back to the chat. Whatever queries you might have, whatever doubts you might have, you can post it there. And also remember that you have to understand whatever we are doing is purely from learning and educational perspective. You have to take your decision independently, and we are SEBI registered research analysts. Those disclaimer and disclosure, I'm going to share it across shortly. तो चलते हैं, पहले देखते हैं मार्केट में क्या चल रहा है, what techniques are working, what is the setup today. We will also talk about some stocks. We want to see which stocks we can buy, which stocks we can sell, and what do we think should be done for the day or for the coming week. So very interestingly, I'm going to look at certain techniques of candlestick. I'm going to share across my screen now. Just give me a second. And I'm also going to talk about simple methods of time techniques that you can use to forecast the market. Yes, people think that timing the market is not possible, whereas I say that you can absolutely time the market if you have the tools, if you have the right context and every those things, you can definitely time the market. So you can do that, and also remember that where it is important for you to clearly understand कि मार्केट को टाइम करने के साथ प्राइस एक्शन भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो कैंडल और टाइम, व्हेन यू आर बाइंग, you are on not only buying price but you are also buying time, but very few people understand that. I'm sure many of you think कि you are buying only price और फोकस खाली प्राइस पे नहीं. अगर टाइम सही है तो प्राइस भी सही हो मिलेगा. सो टाइम के साथ प्राइस को फोकस करना है. We will look at one indicator which we call as Ichimoku cloud today. We'll club that Ichimoku cloud and see if there is a trade that we can take in options. अगर हम options पे trade ले सकते हैं कि नहीं ले सकते. I'm sure you might be already aware about what is an Ichimoku cloud. अगर नहीं भी पता है तो मैं आपको explain करूंगा in simple ways. So let's just look at that, and we will also look at certain stocks, but not the stocks you are picking up, the stocks that I pick up. Those stocks we are going to look at it. I'm going to go on my trading view, and I'm going to open up my chart very quickly. We'll look at certain aspects of global markets also, what is happening with, and then very interestingly, one very interesting aspect is that rupee is breaching that 80 mark. Now imagine markets are rallying, rupee breaching that 80 mark. It's not making sense, right? What about inflation now? What about rupee depreciating now? What about crude oil? What about Russia-Ukraine war? Everything went took a back seat just because market rallied. अगर मार्केट गिर रहा होता तो न्यूज क्या आती थी कि भाई इन्फ्लेशन है and all of those things, rupee depreciating, but market is rallying, so very less people are talking about what is the impact and what is the logical reason. तो market चल क्यों रहा है ऊपर? It is the sentiment of the crowd that drives the market, not the news. So we can measure those sentiment by looking at time cycles, looking at Elliott wave. बट हमें कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं करना है. आज हम बहुत ही सिंपल रखेंगे, सिंपल स्ट्रेटेजी फॉलो करेंगे. लेट्स सी बाय लुकिंग एट दो सिंपल स्ट्रेटेजी हाउ वी कैन ट्रेड द मार्केट. सो लेट मी नाउ वेरी क्विकली शेयर अक्रॉस द स्क्रीन. Just a second, and you will be able to see my screen over here. This is, I'm going to go on daily chart and I'm going to hide all the indicators. Purely देखते हैं निफ्टी पे चलते हैं, फिर we will discuss about bank nifty also. So I'm going to go on Nifty right now. I'm going to hide myself here. चलिए निफ्टी पे देखते हैं कि ओवरऑल मूव क्या है, कहां पर रेजिस्टेंस है, कहां पर सपोर्ट है. लेट अस जस्ट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग्स इन अ वेरी सिंपल फैशन. यहां पर अगर आप देख रहे हैं, वी कैन क्लियरली सी द एरिया where usually the gaps acts as a very classic support and resistance. तो ये एक सपोर्ट है, 16,140 is the support, and the resistance, sorry, that's the support, yes, and the next support is 16,040 के आसपास. मतलब 16,140 से 16,040 ये gap जो area है ना, that is now a very classic support. So basis of this support, you can possibly trade the market, but you have to understand how to look at the support levels and how to clearly identify the gaps. So अगर आपने देखा होगा पिछले काफी समय से gaps are working as a classic support and resistance. So as long as markets are moving in gaps, you can identify the support and resistance. Many people creep that यार gap के कारण opportunity नहीं मिल रहा है, we can't trade the market क्योंकि gap इतना बड़ा है, gap down है. So how do we go about it? What I am trying to tell you is that you do not worry about gaps. You use gap for your trading opportunity. कि उसे किस तरीके से हमें trade करना है. Try and use gap for that, and that will help us. So if you are looking at this chart, can you very clearly see? Let me go on 1 hour candle now. Where are the gaps? That is what we are going to identify. अगर आप ये chart देख रहे हैं, you can clearly identify that this is the gap area. So the gap area that you will see is going to act as a support. That is what I have mentioned. Similarly, the past gap will act as a resistance. So we have a support, we have a resistance. We can clearly make that out. So कहाँ पर है past gap and which one will act as a resistance is what we want to figure out. तो अगर आप past gap देखोगे, let me just zoom in. So this is the area. यहाँ पर से बहुत बड़ा gap था. We can clearly see that. So this gap, this area was a very important support and resistance. Okay. Now this gap is now definitely filled and price have moved beyond that. The next area of support and resistance is this. This is the area. As I have said, the gaps acts as a support and resistance, and that is what we are trying to see. So we are currently either a horizontal line बना देते. So what I am doing is I am just trying to plot horizontal lines to understand where are the gap, support and resistance lying. Okay. So this is the, I'm just going to make a note for you. These are the gaps. यहाँ पर है. So every time markets are just moving in gap. अगर आप सही हो और जल्दी हो तो फिर पैसा बनेगा, नहीं तो नहीं बनेगा. That's how it is. Along with gap, I'm also going to draw this lower trend line channel. It works so beautifully. Look at this point. Okay. यहाँ से what are the chances for Nifty touching 16,800 in July? Okay, आप लोगों को कंक्लूजन चाहिए. जस्ट थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेनेशन करते फिर देखते कि 16,800 टच होगा कि नहीं होगा, कि क्यों नहीं होगा. मतलब लेट्स जस्ट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड दैट जुलाई के महीने में. इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट दिस चार्ट, what do you understand we are right now standing at? We are right now standing at this gap area. Okay, so we clearly can see Nifty gap areas are acting as a classic support and resistance, and you can make out by looking at this chart that how one can possibly use this information for trading. So which means that अगर मुझे long positions create करनी है, I need a 1 hour close about this area. ये area कौन सा है? 16,320 के ऊपर. So this high today was how much? 16,328, 16,330 के ऊपर अगर 1 hour candle close होता है, then there is a possibility we will move towards 16,479. I've been tweeting about this level since morning, since yesterday. If in case you are following me on Twitter, मैंने ये levels को काफी बार mention किया है, that why it is important, how you have to look at that, because of the gap that you can see here. Clear है everyone? Now we want to take a trade. अभी फिलहाल ट्रेड लेने के लिए अगर मैं RSI रीडिंग देखूं, RSI is around 68, 68.50 levels. So taking a trade on the long side is risky. But can I say the short term trend is up? Can I say at least over the short term the trend is on the upside? The trend is on the upside over short term, making higher high, higher low within the channel. Now, will it touch 16,800 in July? I don't think, because यहाँ पर अगर आप देखोगे, clearly there is a resistance of the channel, resistance of the gap. So the max that I am thinking Nifty can go from here on is probably around 16,540. 16,540 if it goes there. That's the max. So it's not going towards 16,800 looking at the overall movement. Does it answer your question? Just simple channel plot किया मैंने फिलहाल के लिए. Maybe later on it can go, who knows, but फिलहाल के लिए तो ये resistance है, and this is a major hurdle from where we can possibly reverse. Now, after looking at this, we can also try and figure out one very important information that you can see. I'm going to zoom in the chart. Since the low formed here, just look at it very focused way, and since the low formed here, overall यहां पर जहां लो बना था वहां से अभी तक एक भी बार, लेट मी जस्ट, वहां से एक भी बार क्लोज प्रीवियस लो के नीचे नहीं हुआ है वर्ली कैंडल. सो लुक एट दिस, look at this. In the morning also I tweeted, now is some selling that is possibly coming in, lekin for this there is not a single close that has happened below the prior candle low. If this happens from the gap area, this will be the first sign of weakness. Is it clear? Wave B is extending at absolutely, Seema. That's the thing, right? Wave B you can't really expect to complete unless we have a confirmation. So you have to wait. Patience is very important in this kind of a market, because if you are not going to be patient enough, you will possibly do blunders. So if you look at this overall market now, right now, we can see that we are at an important resistance. Since you asked about wave theory, this is wave A which was on the downside, this is wave B which is going on, C will come, but बाकी काफी जनों को पता नहीं होगा, so I'm not going to get into the wave explanation now. We want to see this from here. We are now seeing an hourly move on the reversal candle. This is the first red candle which is forming, and this candle will close at 12:15. So ये candle का close is important. Okay, very clearly. So this candle close will not suggest कि आपको sell करना है market, बल्कि options पे अगर trade लेना है तो this can be a sell strangle. Clearly, sell strangle का क्या मतलब होता है? That we will sell call and we will also sell put, so that we know that the overall movement is going to be range bound. Now, why do we expect it to be range bound? Because we have seen an RSI which is overbought, and now we are seeing some kind of a dip coming in. Also, it is happening from the area of significance. Area of significance का मतलब होता है the area where there are gaps. This is the gap area, this is the gap area. So this is going to act, it is not going to be an easy for market to cross this area. Look at the number of times Nifty has actually resisted from this area. Let me just plot it and show it to you. The number of times we have moved beyond, try to attempt to move beyond this area is here, here. Multiple attempts have happened here. Okay, this is the gap again, we can see, and that's the gap. This was an attempt again here. Will it reverse from here? That's the question. So now it's the time where we will not buy calls, where we will not buy long positions क्योंकि RSI overbought है. At the same time, trend ऊपर का है, लेकिन ऊपर जाने में इतनी ताकत फिलहाल है नहीं, ऐसा लग रहा है. So we are going to resist. That's why it is important for us to know that this is the market where you might want to try and pick up a reversal. by way of selling calls, or maybe by way of selling strangle. Q strangle, because this is just a first sign of weakness, and we will sell both the calls and the puts so that we are not stuck in case market goes sideways. Strangle का मतलब पता है आप लोगों को, which means selling both calls and puts. Are you with me? So clearly, any questions on this? So what we are doing, this is a simple price action areas that we are trying to identify. Strangle means you sell calls option also and you sell put option also. The reason we are talking about selling calls and put both is because we expect markets to go sideways now. Since it is overbought near the hurdle zone, we expect it to go sideways. So we are selling both calls and put. Okay. And now what we want to do is, after seeing this, just a second. So we have price action reversal area near the current levels of Nifty, and we are seeing for first time in approximately कितने आवर्स कैंडल हो गए वो काउंट करते हैं हम. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 to 14 hours. Okay, approximately in 13 to 14 hours we are seeing formation of a red candle. अभी लेकिन कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है. This candle will close at 12:15. So we need to wait till 12:15. A negative close will be opportunity to sell strangle. Is it clear? Everyone. Now I want to apply Ichimoku cloud. So we are applying an indicator which is known as an Ichimoku cloud. Just a second. So this is a very superb indicator. For expiry, we can't really do long now. See, try and understand. You need to have a trade setup basis of which you can trade anything. But abhi filal, what is the reason why you want to go long? You know, the reason only being you are seeing a big candle formation and market is higher, so you want to go long. But that is not why you should be possibly buying or selling a market. There has to be a strong reason. There has to be a strong conviction. There has to be something that tells you, nahi boss, now it's the time to possibly buy the market or sell the market. So what is your trade setup? What is your trade strategy? Unless you have your own trade setup or a trade strategy, you can't really do anything. So form a trade setup. That is what we are looking at now. So we can clearly see over here, this is an Ichimoku cloud. So there are multiple lines. Don't get confused or worried about what is cloud and there are so many things on it, how to trade it. Simple language में अगर बताए तो this is acting as a moving average. So blue one is a moving average. It's not actually a moving average, but it acts like a moving average. So we know this is a moving average. The red one is another one, and we have the multiple supports lying down. So the first support for Nifty is here, which is 16,250. Next support is directly too far away, which is 16,090 on a 1 hour time frame. इतने बड़े टाइम फ्रेम पे नहीं जाएंगे हम. We will go on a smaller time frame, which is 15 minutes. On a 15 minutes time frame, ignore the vertical lines that we have right now, ignore the vertical lines. On a 15 minutes time frame, if I'm looking at this chart, we can clearly see prices are near the support of this channel, which is 16,260. That's the support, और वहीं पे 16,270 के आसपास अभी हम फिलहाल है. That's where we are right now. Now we want to clearly understand that if we are at the support of this level, shall we buy or shall we sell? What do you think? See, it is at the support, but can I also say it is forming a red candle? The most important support in case of an Ichimoku cloud is the cloud support. ये जो आपको दिख रहा है, the green shaded area, this is known as the cloud support. So the cloud is the most important support level. This is the cloud. So the support for Nifty is way down. मतलब यहाँ से अगर आप देखोगे, this is also the gap area, which means that 16,140 is the important support for Nifty, and it's currently very far away. So let me just remove this. This is the important support. Okay, and at the same time prices are on the upside. So filhal there is no opportunity for you to buy or sell. You have to wait. Possibly it will go sideways now or show some kind of a correction or a dip, and then if we get something like this happening, and then if we break the high, we will look for buying opportunity. So prices will tend to move towards the cloud area. That is how it looks like. So this is possibly the Nifty path over a very short term. This is the possibly Nifty path that you can see. So 16,300 sell करना risky हो जाएगा. You might want to sell 16,500 call option, क्योंकि 300 तो बहुत नजदीक हो जाएगा. So you might want to sell a 16,400 also. But if you are selling a 16,400, you need to keep this as a stop loss for sure. क्योंकि अगर इसके ऊपर गया, then you don't really know. So if you are trying to capture reversal, then 16,400 I would prefer. 300 becomes too near and risky bet. Is it clear? So the trade that we can possibly do right now is to use 16,400 as a call option to sell. Once we see a close below the prior candle low on a 1 hour chart. Can anyone tell me what is the prior candle low that you can see here? What is the prior candle low on an 1 hour chart? We are just there, right? Let me just show it to you 1 second. ये कैंडल का लो, ये कैंडल का लो है 16,275. So if Nifty closes below 16,275, then I can sell 16,400 का call option. That can be the trade I can think of taking. Is it clear? Everyone? ठीक है, चले आगे. Now we want to check. This is 1 hour candle. We'll go back on a 15-minute chart. So it's right now, that's how it's moving. Any questions on this? Simple way say we are trying to trade looking at simple strategy, and we are trying to make sense out of it by looking at Nifty Ichimoku cloud, which is suggesting possible sideways action. With 16,140 as important support of cloud. Now, after seeing this, we will now go on stocks. ठीक है, we'll look at some of the stocks also, जैसे मैंने बताया था, we'll look at stocks also. So we'll now look at stocks that we can think of creating long position. क्योंकि निफ्टी पे तो ट्रेड मिल गया है, स्ट्रैंगल सेल कर सकते हैं, साइडवेज में रहेगा लग रहा है फिलहाल के लिए, ट्रेंड ऊपर का है लेकिन वहां पर हर्डल है, तो मतलब नेट नेट शायद कहीं नहीं जाएगा, so it can move in just sideways action. That's one, so we can sell strangle. Okay, the next option that we have is if we close below 16,260 275, then possibly sell call option, but with a strict stop loss खाली intraday के लिए, क्योंकि overnight gaps हो सकता है, तो that can be a risky bet as of now. Now we will look at certain stocks. You know which sector, if I have to ask you which sector is outperforming, कौन सा सेक्टर आउटपरफॉर्म कर रहा है आपको लगता है, which one? Auto. We can clearly see a strong outperformance in auto sector and FMCG of course. So auto sector में फिलहाल हम चलते ओवरऑल चार्ट पे. Let me just hide across all the indicators. And clear off the screen. This is Eicher Motors. Okay, are you able to see the chart here? Now if you look at this chart, this is a daily time frame. Can we clearly see, despite of oil boiling, despite of so many things happening, Eicher Motors is now touching the lifetime high levels. बराबर है ना, नया हाई टच कर रहा है वो, नया हाई नहीं, 52 वीक हाई, न्यू हाई तो उसके ऊपर है, 52 वीक हाई टच कर रहा है. इट्स अबाउट द प्रीवियस ईयर हाई, 52 वीक हाई, मतलब ब्रेकआउट तो है इस स्टॉक में, एंड ओवरऑल द ट्रेंड इज ऑन द अपसाइड. दिस इज ओवरऑल बिगर पर्सपेक्टिव. नाउ वी लुक एट द इंडिकेटर्स अगेन. विल गो ऑन अ 1 hour chart. We can clearly see price move to the cloud, bounce back upside and moving here, again finding a support. We will go on a 15-minute chart. 15 minutes cloud. Do you remember I mentioned cloud acts as a support? So for us to take a trade in Eicher Motors, the problem right now is that we have some divergence, slow down in the momentum. ठीक है, तो डाइवर्जेंस है, तो मतलब ब्रेकआउट पे बाय नहीं करना है क्योंकि वो नहीं चलने वाला है, बिकॉज डाइवर्जेंस है. So we will not be able to buy on the breakout. Are you understanding? We will have to buy not on the breakout but on dips. ठीक है, so what dips do we have to buy this stock on? We have to use, okay, any dip. So Eicher Motors पे, let me just make a note for you. यहां से अगर हमें स्टॉक मिलता है नीचे somewhere around this support area, which is 3040 का classic support है, that's the support area. So if it comes down to 3040, यहां से consolidate हो रहा है, correction है, so if we have 3040 and then reversal candle बनता है, then we can buy the stock for a target of on the upside, which is here. ठीक है, basis of cloud. क्यों? Because we expect it to come towards the cloud, find some support there and then bounce back. Once this happens, we will have a classic opportunity to go long in this stock for a short term trade. 3040 पे buy करना है हमें Eicher Motors को. So let me just make a note here. Buy Eicher Motors. You can also make a note on dips to 3040, लेकिन वहां पर कैंडल देखनी है. We need a bullish candle after that. Okay, stop loss कहाँ लगाना है हमें? अगर 3040 पे अगर हम buy करेंगे, we need to place a stop loss. See, if you want to trade successfully, you need to have stop loss. Without stop loss, you can't really trade. Stop loss हमारा आ जाएगा अराउंड, नीचे थोड़ा रखेंगे दूर का लेवल, जो मल्टीपल सपोर्ट, ये पिवट लेवल 3000 के आसपास, इससे थोड़ा लीवे देके विल कीप अ स्टॉप लॉस एट 3000 लेवल्स. सो हमारा स्टॉप लॉस विल बी 3000 ऑन द डाउन साइड, एंड दिस इज अ वेरी शॉर्ट टर्म चार्ट. 3000 लेवल्स का स्टॉप लॉस होगा, एंड हमारा टारगेट क्या होगा? टारगेट विल बी प्रीवियस हाई के थोड़ा ऊपर, बिकॉज ये चैनल बनेगा. सो प्रीवियस हाई के थोड़ा ऊपर हमारा टारगेट होगा. सो टारगेट विल बी अराउंड 3100 लेवल्स. सो 3100 लेवल्स का टारगेट है. स्टॉप लॉस है 40 पॉइंट्स का और टारगेट है 60 पॉइंट्स का. 1:1.5 का रिस्क रिवॉर्ड है हमारा. सो दैट वे वी कैन कंसिडर बाइंग Eicher Motors. Is it clear? Basis of Ichimoku cloud technique. Any doubts on this? Let me also pick up one more stock, which is from the mid cap, small cap space. And let me just pick up one more stock, which is from the mid cap, small cap space, is Sesha Paper. Let me just explain that. Let's go on the daily time frame. सबसे हमेशा always remember you have to first look at the daily time frame, then you go on the short term time frames. Now, if you look at this daily time frame, it looks like a superb inverted head and shoulder pattern. We have a shoulder here, sorry, we have a head here. We have shoulder on the left and we have shoulder on the right. And this is the neckline. It's showing a classic inverted head and shoulder pattern with a breakout on Ichimoku. Can you see that? So now since we have this stock breaking out with a neckline, now we don't want to buy on daily time frame. See, daily time frame becomes very big to consider buying. We need to buy on a short term time frame. So what do? We want to go on a 1 hour chart. We are going on a 1 hour chart. Okay. One hour chart pe, can I say that after a brief consolidation, the stock has given a strong breakout above the cloud again? Clear hai? After a brief consolidation, the stock has given a good breakout above the cloud again. So what we are going to do now, which means volumes, volumes have picked up. So volumes are decent with a good breakout on the upside. But RSI is overbought, तो थोड़ा वेट करना पड़ेगा डिप के लिए. We'll go on a 15-minute chart over here. Now where is the support? See, remember the blue, red and cloud are acting as a support. So where is the support? The support is at the red line, which is also the previous high. So I can say that if we get a dip in Sesha paper towards 205, that can be an opportunity to buy. So ये हमारा buy price होगा 205 पे. What will be my stop loss? Stop loss will be around 200, थोड़ा सा नीचे 200.50 रख सकते हैं. We can keep it around here. ये low है and इससे थोड़ा नीचे, and also cloud support is there. So our stop loss will be 200.50 around this zone. So Sesha paper पे strategy क्या बना? Buy Sesha paper on dips to, ये लेवल कौन सा मिला हमें? 205. Stop loss will be 200.50. And then target कैसे आएगा? Target के लिए we can also use channel. So we can use channel, we can use multiple techniques for target. But for now, we can use even Fibonacci projection, which is like a wave theory. I want to go on price action and see what is the pattern target. So if you see, this is like a triangle pattern. This is like a triangle pattern. That is what we are seeing here. तो ये जो width है ना, इतना टारगेट हम ऊपर में एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं ब्रेकआउट के बाद. This is normal triangle practice I'm saying. So we can expect a breakout on the upside, width of this entire length. So 188 से 204 है, which is approximately 18 points. So 218 तक का टारगेट हमें 200 से ब्रेकआउट है. So 218 तक का टारगेट हमें मिल सकता है. But we want to be little conservative, so we can expect a target of 215. Is it clear? So हमारा रिस्क हो गया 5 पॉइंट्स का अप्रोक्सीमेटली, टारगेट हो गया 10 पॉइंट्स का, तो 1:2 का रिस्क रिवॉर्ड मिल सकता है. क्लियर है एवरीवन? So let's see one more stock now, Tata Motors, because that's in the limelight, and similar kind of strategy, that is what you can adopt. Cloud से support, now it's far away, तो अभी कुछ नहीं करना है. Wait for it to come to the red line 438, वहां आएगा, रिवर्सल कैंडल देगा, then look for a buying opportunity on the stock for catching a reversal on the upside. Okay, so it is very important you understand these things very clearly before taking any trade. Let's just look at Nifty again, what is happening. निफ्टी ने देखो अभी वापस से बाइंग आ गई, so we are still not closing below the prior candle low, so we need to see this hourly candle close below 16275 to assume कि शायद साइडवेज या नीचे आ सकता है. अभी भी ये क्लोज नहीं हुआ, डिस्पाइट ऑफ सच अ बिग डिप वो क्लोज नहीं हुआ है. नाउ दैट इज very important, understand it clearly. Any questions? So these are simple techniques of trading, and कुछ भी नहीं किया मैंने, देखो प्योरली प्राइस पे ही फोकस रखा है. आई एम नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन इंडिकेटर मच, आई एम नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन एनीथिंग. यू हैव टू फोकस ओनली ऑन प्राइस और टाइम. These are the two things which are most important. And how to form a strangle on it. See, strangle तब भी फॉर्म किया जाता है जब आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो कि मार्केट साइडवेज जाएगा. If you are expecting markets to go sideways, that's the time when you should be expecting some strangle to form. If market is not going sideways, for example on stocks, strangle करने के लिए you should pick up stock that is non-trending, something like Reliance, which is broadly moving in a range, not something like that. Okay, what's your YouTube video channel name? Okay. Sure. So since you asked, I'll just mention it here. My YouTube channel is @Kyal Ashish. You can search out. We have around 28,000 subscribers there. Okay, and clearly Reliance will be to 500 by Friday. Okay, देखते हैं, फिलहाल तो कुछ है नहीं. चलिए, तो अभी फिलहाल देखेंगे तो निफ्टी इज गोइंग इन अ रेंज, नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर, नॉट मूविंग एनीवेयर, एंड इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस टेक्निक्स क्लियरली इन अ वेरी सिंपल वे, बिकॉज अगर आपको ये टेक्निक नहीं फॉलो करे, यू नीड टू फोकस समथिंग दैट यूजेस प्राइस, जो प्राइस फोकस्ड है, प्राइस या टाइम फोकस्ड है, not purely on indicators. So what all things did we try and see today? We tried and see the overall nifty direction. Possibly we can do a strangle once we see a close below 16,275. ये एक ट्रेड सेटअप मिला हमें, एक ट्रेड मिला जो हम कर सकते हैं. स्ट्रैंगल कौन सा करेंगे? 16,600 का और नीचे में 15,800 का फार अवे स्ट्राइक प्राइस लेना है. तो परसों एक्सपायरी के लिए ये डेल्टा थोड़ा सा, नॉट डेल्टा न्यूट्रल, आई वुड से थोड़ा सा हेज्ड वे में आप ट्रेड ले सकते हो. एक तो वो हो गया. दूसरा, दो स्टॉक्स के बारे में हमने बात की, विच इज सेशा पेपर, जहां पर हमें, मैं आई जस्ट रिपीट व्हाट वी वांट टू डू ऑन सेशा पेपर. वी वांट टू look for buying opportunity clearly, but not now, maybe on dips. That is what we want to make out. And क्या strategy था सेशा पेपर पे, I'll just repeat. dips to 205 because वहां पर red moving average वाला support है Ichimoku cloud का. Stop loss 200.50 पे रखेंगे and then expecting target of 215. The other stock that we can look for is buying Eicher Motors on dips to 3040. Stop loss will be 3000 and target will be 3100. We are looking for dips as a buying opportunity because markets are overbought. RSI overbought है, थोड़ा सा स्लो डाउन हो सकता है, तो ब्रेकआउट पे बाय करना रिस्की है एट दिस लेवल. इवन फॉर निफ्टी इंट्राडे के लिए ऑप्शन बाय करना रिस्की लग रहा है. मे बी ऑप्शन राइट करके पैसा बनाएंगे. Once we see a dip of 100 points or towards that 16,140 levels, then we can think of possibly buying, or if there is a reversal from there, then we might think of buying opportunity. कौन से टेक्निक्स पे? गैप एरिया, क्लाउड सपोर्ट, previous gap जो एरिया था, प्राइस एक्शन, all of those things are suggesting similar kind of technique. Okay, is it clear everyone? Interesting. A simple way of looking at markets, no complications, easy way में अगर हमें ट्रेड लेना है, we can do that, right? Any questions? Any doubts? Any questions? Anyone? No doubts? Just before we move on, I just wanted to also share across a quick disclaimer because it's important that you understand that. I'll just share that screen. Yeah, so we are SEBI registered research analysts. Please make a note of that. Whatever we are discussing is purely from educational learning perspective. Whatever decision you have taken, you have to think before taking that. And this is a disclosure. We have no financial interest in any of these stocks that we have discussed. So make a note of this thing. And we just want to also share across the number that we have is 99204 22202. In case you have any queries, doubts, you can always WhatsApp us on this. And my Twitter handle is @KyalAshish. I keep tweeting, and YouTube channel is @KyalAshish. So you can make a note of that also. It's important. Okay, there is a question here. Can you please explain once again the previous one? What previous one? I mean, I didn't get that question. तो बहुत सिंपल टेक्निक है कैंडल स्टिक का, वो बेसिस पे आप लोग ट्रेड ले सकते हैं. वो बेसिस पे यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड लॉट ऑफ दोस थिंग्स. इफ आई गो ऑन द चार्ट अगेन हियर, निफ्टी का वी नीड, एज आई सेड, इन पास्ट 13-14 आवर्स एक भी कैंडल ने प्रीवियस लो के नीचे क्लोज नहीं किया निफ्टी पे. इवन दिस कैंडल वी वेंट डाउन, बट देखो ना अभी 12-13 हो गया, वी आर स्टिल नॉट क्लोजिंग बिलो द प्रायर कैंडल लो. सो दिस इज clearly suggesting that there is no selling even now. That's why we have to wait for 1 hour candle confirmation to take any kind of trading decision. So if we close below this candle, then we will sell call options, but not now. We need a close below this candle. Is it clear? समझ में आया what I wanted to communicate? Basis of the candlestick technique, and you can apply it on stocks, you can apply it, but 1 hour is always reliable. 15-minute candle is not so reliable for closing hourly candle basis. So 1 hour candle is always much more reliable. So remember that thing very, very clearly. So keep a watch on that. And yes, great guys. So I think this was interesting. Also, one more thing, we have an app. The app is Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul by the name on Play Store. You can download the app and you can interact with us for anything that you might require. You can always, there are a lot of learnings and research and free bonus videos. So do ensure that you get those apps. That's the link I'm sharing across. Download the app now. And it's known as Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. On Play Store, you can find that. So use that, and there is a lot of articles, videos that can help you and enhance your training, enhance your learning. So this is how I trade. This is how I do it. This is how I see the markets. And I'm sharing across whatever I know. There is a lot that can be discussed, but we have a short span of time. देखिए 12:15 हो गया, निफ्टी ने अभी भी क्लोज प्रीवियस कैंडल लो के नीचे नहीं किया. दैट्स अ पावरफुल टेक्निक. There is no reversal yet. So now we need a break below this candle low. ये कैंडल का जो लो है वो है 16,255. उसके नीचे अगर निफ्टी जाएगा तब हम बोल सकते हैं शायद साइडवेज होने वाला है. So 16,255 पे वॉच रखो. Keep watching. So pay focus on prices and not only time. Clear? Great, guys. I hope this was interesting session. How to focus on price, how to use Ichimoku Cloud, how to look at the channels, and keep a watch on the stocks that we discussed. I hope this was interesting and you people learned something and also had a trading opportunity later in the day basis of the levels that we talked. This is Ashish Kyal signing off. Thank you very much.